now? 6 days left, or 5.5, who's counting? It's easy to get lost and focus on who said what, the back and forth. But if you think about it, what's really at stake in this election are things that are really, really big. And I think if we step back and think about that, before we had a Constitution, we had something called the Declaration of Independence, which was really the mission statement for this country. And what it said is that we are granted by God, not by government, to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And those three words had never really been put together like that in the course of human history before that moment. And it really defines who we are as Americans. It is a uniquely American concept that we can pursue our dreams. And it's what brought my 6 generations ago from Germany to settle in mid-Missouri to pursue their dreams for a better life. And my grandfather, who came back from World War II with an 8th grade education to live the American dream. He started a butcher shop. And my dad saw how hard he worked. And my dad was a butcher and then went to night school to get a degree and then got a job and worked 7 days a week in the midnight shift to provide a better life for his family. And that is really what is at stake here, is what kind of country are we going to be? This election will determine so many things. Are we going to have higher taxes or are we going to have lower taxes? What kind of Supreme Court are we going to have? And Roy Blunt, who's running for the United States Senate, could very well be the 51st Republican in the Senate. That has profound implications. Also, what we do with this statewide ticket, it is the first time in 24 years, in a generation, where every single statewide office holder will be somebody new in all these positions. Moving our state forward, lowering taxes, being a right-to-work state, all that stuff is on the line. The prosperity for our kids and our grandkids, it's coming up in 6 days. Now, why is it important to have a Republican state treasurer, conservative in that office? Well, John mentioned, I did move 2 of the largest tax cuts in the history of the state. I think we need a state treasurer who understands that you know better how to spend your money than government does. We need a state treasurer that isn't so much interested in investing in Wall Street as investing in Main Street. We need a state treasurer who's going to stand up against radical Islamic terrorism. Now, I'm going to say that again because our president won't utter it one time. Radical Islamic terrorism. We are in a real war, a real clash of civilizations here. Radical Islamists want to destroy Western civilization. 9/11 wasn't the beginning. It is a continuation of that. And it is very important that we have a state treasurer that will not invest in any company that does business with state sponsors of terrorism. 10 years ago, Sarah Steelman was the first state treasurer in the country from Missouri to have a terror-free investment policy. 30-plus states have come on board. What has happened recently? The president negotiated this disaster of an Iran deal that does nothing to dismantle the nuclear infrastructure of the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. What is a state sponsor of terrorism? It means Iran funds, gives arms and cash to terrorists who want to kill our soldiers, who want to kill American citizens. And this president just sent a cargo plane over there with billions of dollars in cash. I mean, this is unthinkable. But in that deal, there's a paragraph that seeks to undermine the state divestiture policies, because they're working. Think about the hundreds of billions of dollars that are not being invested in companies that do business in Iran. They negotiate a provision to undermine that. As your state treasurer, not a dollar of your taxpayer money will go to any company that does business with Iran. She said terrorism is an issue, but it's not really an issue. She supports the Iran deal. You can't support the Iran deal without supporting that paragraph that undermines our policy. My opponent was handpicked by President Obama to run Obamacare in Missouri. Now, there's a lot of people who voted for Obamacare, right? There's a lot of true believers. To be the person that's actually picked to implement it, that is a very dangerous policy. It's not working. And we need a state treasurer that's going to stand up for you. So this election is very important. From governor on down, we need a Republican governor, we need a Republican lieutenant governor, secretary of state who believes in the integrity of elections, an attorney general that's going to stand up for the federal government. But we can't do it without you. Speeches don't count on election day. Your phone calls, your hard work, your commitment to this broader cause, this idea that together, individually as Americans, we can pursue our dreams. That's what's at stake. I'm Eric Schmitt. I'm asking for your vote. Thank you for all of your help.